And they call me warrior. They call me loyalty. And they call me...
Okay, so right now what Sandra and I first want to talk to you about is if anyone's in your personal bubble here and you don't want them in your personal bubble, they kind of just invaded it, all right? Anytime if she sticks her hands out, right, and I have my hand out, anytime we're at this double arm's length, if someone's inside that, your hands need to be up, okay? Because once our hands are up, now I have to kind of go around her hands to get to her face, right? Or push on her forearms or anything like that. So if someone's in your bubble, have your hands up, your palm turned towards them, all right? Because now, when I have to go around her arms to kind of get to her, it allows her to easily push on my chin, do strikes, all right? My face is open because I'm having to go around her forearms, okay, to kind of get to her, all right? So the first technique we're going to show you is a wrist lock takedown. So in this type of takedown is when I have a hand on Sandra and I'm pushing into her. I'm driving her backwards. I'm not pulling her towards me. It could stay here. I don't have to be necessarily driving, but I'm not pulling her towards me. I've got pressure into her, and I'm either pointing at her face or, you know, if I want to hit or anything like that, she's at least got her hands up, okay, to intercept that, to block that, to keep me from getting to her face, all right, versus her hands down, where if I decide to hit or choke or anything, right, if she's just pushing back on me, her whole face is exposed, and her jawline is the most vulnerable part of her body where I could knock her out. She doesn't want that to happen. So at least with her hands being up, all right, it's going to prevent that. So what she's going to do when I start to push in on her, is she's going to reach across her body with her far arm. She's going to grab my hand by underneath my pinky, by the meat of my hand. As soon as she does that, she's going to roll. She's going to, hold on one second. She's going to roll my hand up to the center of her chest. Notice that we've got skin to skin contact right here on the center of her chest. She's not allowing my hand to come off. She's actually rolling it in and putting pressure right there. What that does is that allows my elbow to go from this down position right here, where she can't really affect it with any leverage, to an up position, where now she can affect it with leverage, and I'm structurally weaker. Her other hand is going to come up and meet this hand, all right? She's just going to wrap her own hand, okay, right here, and lean forward with her chest into my hand. That's going to start to break me down, all right? I already feel pain in my wrist and on the back of my elbow. Now she's going to keep forearm to forearm contact. So she's sliding down hard on my arm. Now, once she gets to the back of my elbow, she's going to put pressure there to break me down the rest of the way. Some people like to teach this technique where they grab it with their hand, but if she misses, right, it's not the same, okay? She's got more of a chance to kind of miss my arm, where when she uses her forearm to forearm, right, it's a big surface area of her forearm against my elbow. So she can generate that type of leverage quite easily. Now that she's here, go ahead and give me some pressure. She's breaking me down a little more, okay? She's going to do something I like to call trace a C on the ground, which all she's doing with her leg, with her outside leg, is just making a C. If she does that, she's going to put pressure down on the back of my elbow and follow her leg down to the ground and push me down. All right? So now I'm on the ground and she's standing. I went from being an aggressive attacker, all right, to an on the ground person. Okay? So a little quicker, we'll show you again. All right? I'm inside her bubble, so her hands are up always. I put a hand on her, I start to drive into her. She's going to reach over. She's going to grab my hand. She's going to roll it to her chest. Then her other hand's going to come up and meet it, right? Grab your own hand. Now shove down to your chest. That starts to buckle me. Her forearm's going to come out. Boom. She's going to trace the C and drive down. Put me on the ground. If she wants to make this more of an arm break, which she can, all right, when my hand's here, she comes over and she grabs the pinky meat, right, and she rolls it towards her chest. This other hand, as she starts to get pressure here, she can always make this forearm blow to the back of my elbow right here. She's not going to do it now because if she does it hard, she's got a good possibility of hyperextending my elbow or breaking my arm. So it is a possibility for her to do that. All right. The harder she hits here, the quicker I'm going to go to the ground, the more opportunity she has to damage me. It's just up to her how much pressure and force she wants to use on that technique. Good. Okay, so now what we're going to show you is what to do when somebody grabs your shirt this way and they're pulling you into them. All right, this is different because the same technique's not going to work because I'm not driving into Sonya this time. All right, where she can turn my hand over like that easy because I'm pushing into her. This time I'm pulling, so she can't just rotate my elbow up as easily. So what she's going to do to clear this grip that I have on her shirt and from me pulling her into me, again, she's always going to have her hands up, right? Because, right, as I'm pulling her in, she can always start to put tools to target, right? Her tools, all right, her elbows and her palms and her fist, right? And target being my face, right? Or her knee to my groin, any of these other things, right, she could do. But in this instance, we're just showing her how to do a wristlock takedown, okay? So from here, where I'm pulling her towards me, she's going to take her arm that's on the same side. Before we were using the opposite side and rotating in. But since I'm pulling in, she's going to go on the same side arm. As she does this, all right, she's going to turn forcefully over, rotate her body using her hips, because her hips are the most powerful part of her body. As she does that, her other hand is going to catch my wrist and hand underneath, okay, underneath her arm here, okay? She has the ability to elbow if she needs to, so if I start coming in hard from this position, she can start putting her elbow. But right now, she's going to turn back around forcefully, right, with her other hand here, and she comes back. As she turns her hips that way, that's going to start to clear this grip, and she's going to come and get both her thumbs on the back of my palm. As she does that, she's going to show me, straighten back up and show me my palm. Okay, that clears my grip. Her fingers are on my wrist, pulling in, and her thumbs are on the back of my hand, pushing down. So she's pulling her fingers towards her, and her thumbs are pushing my hand towards me as I look at my palm. All right, this can be uncomfortable. However, she's probably not going to submit me or do anything. She's just showing me my palm and clearing that grip. Now she's going to trace the C with her outside leg as she turns her hips that way, and I have to go down. So we're going to show you what it looks like from the other side. That way you can see a little bit more of the hand movement. So as I'm here, again, I'm not driving into her this time. This time I'm like pulling her in to me, okay? Her same side arm is going to come over forcefully, turn with her hips hard, okay? That starts to clear this grip a little bit. Again, now elbows can happen, bam, all right? But her other hand, as she turns, is anticipating catching the back of my hand right here as she turns. Okay, and her thumb's going to go right to my palm. All right? As she rotates back forcefully the other way, go ahead and make your grip, Sandra, underneath here. She rotates back forcefully the other way. That starts to clear my hand off her shirt. Okay, now she's got both her thumbs on the back of my palm, a little higher up here. Perfect. Okay, now she's showing me my palm. Her fingers are pulling into her. Her thumbs are driving in towards me. I'm looking at the back of my hand. She traces the C. Boom. Reach down, and off I go. All right. I know it doesn't look like she's using very much pressure, and she doesn't, but you can imagine if she did this really fast, okay? Again, I don't know what she's doing. She's doing this stuff quicker. if she does this stuff quicker, again, I really don't know what's going on. Okay, so she's going to throw her hand over quick, same side, boom, right? If she does that, her hand's meeting the back of my hand, all right? She's rotating back over quickly. She's showing me the palm. She's making that grip. Continue to trace the C and down. There I go. Okay, I just want to give you guys just a little bit more of the technique on that shirt grab. Okay, so when Sandra grabs my shirt, right, she's pulling me in. Again, this hand here, my far hand, okay, this is going to be my close hand, the same side hand, my far hand. Remember, as I turn my whole body, I'm anticipating catching this right here, right? So I can kind of turn and catch at the same time. Boom. Now, I've already got the back of her hand. As I turn back around and it unravels it, we continue to go, and I'm launching Sandra. And if Sandra does this to me, trust me, she's launching me. My feet will probably come off the ground, right? Because I'm not very flexible in my wrist. So I tend to go with anything when somebody grabs my wrist. All right. I know I'm going to get some questions on that hand position. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to show you, all right, if Sandra grabs me, exactly how I'm putting my hands and my thumbs. I know it's hard to see from another angle, so I want to give you a close-up on exactly what's going on. So when Sandra grabs my shirt, okay, with a hand, okay, when I come over, forcefully with my hips and my elbow at the same time, because that's what gets her rotating, right? I'm turning my whole body, okay? My other hand is catching the back of her hand right here as I rotate, okay? My fingers come right to the wrist. Now, when I rotate back forcefully, it unwinds that grip. Now I'm able to catch with my other hand. When I get here, I push in on the palm and pull back with my fingers, okay? Look at her head position, how it brought her forward. Now, I trace that C with my leg as I take her to the outside. Boom, and there she wants to go already. And I was just as gentle as I could possibly be. So I hope that kind of clears up some of that hand position right there. I know it's kind of hard to see when somebody's fingers are wrapped up in someone else's shirt, exactly what's going on. I hope that gave you a better view. Okay, so now we showed you some wrist lock takedowns, but there's some other takedowns in this sequence too, especially when somebody grabs your shirt and pulls you in forcefully, right? You may not have, it's difference between like, hey, get over here, right, where she's able to do that wrist lock takedown, kind of like I'm coming onto her, versus me just grabbing her and pulling in to me hard. That's different, right? So if she grabs me, right, and she's gonna pull me into her hard, I always want my hands up, right? So, and this is, if she pulls me into her, right, with my hands up, okay, she's gonna pull me in. I'm gonna check the back of her arm here, okay, and my other hand is gonna go either hit her shoulder or go over the top of her shoulder, and I'm gonna start to go thumb down, all right? So she's gonna grab me, she's gonna tell me to come and get in. I'm just gonna step past her, right? And I'm already starting to break her down. All I have to do to continue this movement is walk, and she'll go straight to the ground, right? What I don't want to do is I don't want to, if she pulls me in, right, as I come here, I don't want to get to where I planted my foot, okay, and now we're both kind of in this weird 50-50. Because again, I'm going to be the bigger, stronger attacker, okay? And if we stop here, all right, I'm going to win this. So when Sandra is doing this to me, she needs to take a kick to break me down and keep walking. She doesn't want to get stuck here where we're both upright, or she'll never be able, on this side it would look like this, to where she plants, right, and stops. She's got to keep moving to get me down. She's got to keep walking, all right? So what does that look like when Sandra does that to me? Okay, so I've grabbed Sandra, I've grabbed her on this side, I'm pulling her in towards me, right? She's checking that arm as we're coming. She's reaching across, my trap. This is my far balance point. She's stepping her leg across my body, right? She hooked my leg that time, which is okay. What made it work was the fact that she took the step with the other leg, and she kept traveling that way. She didn't get caught in that 50-50. We'll show you what it looks like on this side. I've grabbed Sandra, right? I'm pulling her in towards me. Boom. She's checking my arm on the same side, right here, just grabbing it, okay? Or if she's past the arm too far, she can always hit my hip, all right? If she hits my hip, this hand can come up, all right? Boom, and hit the far balance point as she takes her other leg and steps past me this way. Boom, right here, right behind my leg. Okay, you gotta be past me a little further. Perfect, okay? So she's checked my arm or checked my hip. Okay, as she continues to walk, and push me down. I end up on the ground, okay? We'll show you what that looks like a little bit faster when she does it to me. Again, what sells these techniques is the fact that I don't know what she's doing. I'm pulling her into me hard, she's stepping across me fast, hitting my far balance point, checking my arm or checking my hip, whatever is more convenient for her at the time, whatever she has access to, and taking that momentum where I'm pulling her in towards me and continuing on with it, all right? That's what gets me off balance. That's what allows me to go to the ground. That leg back here is a post or a kick, but she doesn't stop halfway and get stuck, where now we're at a 50-50. So a little quicker, what it looks like. Boom, I'm just pulling it in. Her hands are always up, just in case. All right, I want to hit. I'm pulling her in. She reaches her arm, she steps across. Go ahead, keep going. And there we go.